Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm going to be doing a couple of solo videos. Geeky Sparkles is busy today doing some stuff around the house, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the increased policing in fan content from various companies. We're going to talk about Capcom cracking down on inappropriate or objectionable content. And then we're going to give you an update on the Shueisha situation. If you recall a video I did the other day talking about the owners of Shonen Jump, One Piece and Dragon Ball, their publisher, apparently they were going on a copyright strike spree on Twitter, but it looks like it might not have actually been them. Might have been somebody else pretending to be them. I was going to say it looked fishy as hell. But these companies are definitely cracking the whip and cracking down on how their content is used, how their characters are used. And I think that it's going to be a lot harder for fan artists and fanfic writers and all of those kinds of people to use copyrighted characters going forward. Everyone seems to be very protective of their IP, and Capcom now seems to be joining in on that too. So we'll see what happens. Before I get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're almost 170,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. Hoping to hit 200,000 soon. Definitely means a lot to us, for sure. So, we talk a lot about art and comics and animation, and a lot of you out there are creative and you like to create fan art, derivative works, etc. And for the most part, most companies historically have let fans do that. You could make fan art, you could make fan comics, fan fiction, you could do, ROM hacks, whatever it is you're into, as long as you weren't really profiting off of it. And then, of course, we've got people in Artist Alley making a lot of money off of effectively bootleg posters and such, but that's a totally different thing. In this case, I was surprised to hear that Capcom is cracking down on inappropriate or objectionable fan content. Now, this has been the deal with Disney for quite some time, as I understand it, that Disney, for the most part, turns a blind eye to fan projects as long as people aren't making a profit off of it. But if it winds up being lewd or obscene or makes the company look bad or looks like it could be official when it's not, then a lot of times they will get people involved. And that seems to be what's going on here with Capcom. Now, this is coming from Bounding in the Comics. So go out to boundinginthecomics.com for the original story. But yeah, as per a newly placed ban on the use of their titles in the creation of fan media, Capcom has begun to crack down on inappropriate or objectionable content, with one content creator already reporting that they have received a takedown notice regarding sexy mods. On January 6th, an update to their video content policy, Capcom announced several new restrictions on how fans could use footage from the company's library of titles in creation of their own original content, alongside bans on the unannounced posting of spoilers and the disclosure of game content prior to a game's official release. The veteran video game developer declared that they would no longer allow their games to be used to create inappropriate content. Using Capcom titles to create video and other content, including mods that is illegal, racist, sexist, prejudicial to sexual orientation, sexually explicit, disparaging, promotes hate crimes, or is otherwise offensive, is not tolerated, said Capcom. In addition to the carpet ban on vaguely defined inappropriate content, Capcom also noted that on a case-by-case basis, the company reserves the right to take down content that is found to be inappropriate or objectionable at our discretion. In conclusion to the video policy, Capcom informed content creators that their failure to abide by these video content guidelines may result in Capcom taking action to have your video content removed. Please note that this policy is not exhaustive. We reserve the right to object to any use of Capcom materials and to remove such objectionable content at our sole discretion. Unsurprisingly, the new restrictions have begun to see questionable enforcement from Capcom. Just a day after their announcement, YouTuber Vadi Wah reported via popular anti-censorship Twitter account Voice of Fan Service that his channel had received a copyright strike from the company over a video which appears to have showcased a nude mod for Resident Evil 3. So this is interesting. I understand on some level why companies are doing this. You want to keep your brand respectable, you do, but it is a balancing act, because if you start attacking fans for fan art, they will turn against you. The most passionate fans are the ones that create fan art, fan videos, etc. And, it does seem like these companies really want to use fans to promote their products, but they want them to behave like company employees or something. And we see this a lot with Disney. Disney loves it when people post about them on social media, as long as it's positive, as long as it's sanctioned by Disney. So if you start posting negative things, and they do what they can do to kind of shut you up. We saw with DreamWorks. We were, not very happy with the new She-Ra. We weren't happy with some of the people working on the new show throwing shade at the creators of the old show. And we said as much in a video, and they used a technicality, a loophole, to shut our videos down. They actually, any videos that had any clips or images from She-Ra, they were going around copyright striking them. Now, we always got them reversed, but they do it just to take the videos out of play. So I think we're going to see more companies do this. And I gotta wonder if this doesn't dovetail with the other report that Capcom is getting kind of woke. There was another video we did about a month or so ago saying that there was an internal memo at Capcom that they were kind of veering into wokeness. And I have to wonder if this doesn't have something to do with some new company mandate. Either way, just be aware that Capcom is out there looking over your shoulder, making sure you don't do the lewds of Chun-Li or Jill Valentine or Roll, or whatever. So just to update, speaking of fan art, just to give you guys an update on what's going on with Shueisha, I just saw this a couple of minutes ago. This is New World Arter, Library of Ohala on Twitter, who was the one, I believe, that posted a list of the links to the accounts that were struck by supposedly Shueisha. And now they're coming out and saying this is not actually Shueisha. It's a hoax. It's a hoax according to them. I can't verify, but I thought it was kind of weird that they would be striking people for using GIFs, striking people for using any kind of fan art, any kind of images from Dragon Ball or One Piece. The following document aims to take an in-depth look at the recent situation regarding Shueisha's Twitter copyright takedowns and unmasking the full truth beneath this complicated situation through extensive research and showing decisive evidence that this entire incident was an orchestrated attack that was not caused by Shueisha. So I'm going to put a link to this in the comments, and you can check it out for yourself. There are some things that don't add up. Many news outlets have covered the matter and accused Shueisha of these actions. I and many other creators and fans in the community have felt threatened by this matter, fearing that Shueisha decided to revise their copyright rules to be as punishing and as morally anti-consumer as possible. And yet the story we unearthed over the following days proved the shocking revelation. The entire thing was a hoax. If it turns out that the Shueisha copyright thing is a hoax, then that shows just how weak sauce Twitter's DMCA takedown policy is. Like, anybody can claim to be a company and have something removed for any reason. Like, oh, I'm DreamWorks, I don't like your She-Ra fan art. Yep, you're done. You're done. Okay, so many have blamed this on a new copyright law that was passed in Japan at the start of the year. This is not the case. Well, I already said it's not the case, because that copyright law does allow for fan art and short snippets of manga to be posted. The law indicates that things such as tweeting partial content from the series does not breach the law. People saying that this series of events was caused by this new law are nothing more than baseless speculation. I said I didn't think it was the case. Furthermore, very few accounts and very few select tweets were targeted, which would be odd if this was a new policy site-wide crackdown. Some have blamed this as a crackdown on people uploading scans, pirated content before release, but that's not the case. Many of the accounts, including mine, only cover officially released content, and even their own employees were hit, so this was not an attack on pirated content, but content in general. However, the biggest oddity is the sheer inconsistency of these copyright claims and how they claim material that no sane human could consider a breach of copyright. Yeah, like GIFs. Many have attributed these claims that they were a work of a rogue bot meant to flag copyrighted content, failing to do its job. However, besides the fact that it would be embarrassing for a company to cause this result through the work of a bot, well, it's happened before. It has happened before. I can prove no bot was involved. There are certain images I had included in several different tweets over and over, yet some of the tweets containing the images, the exact same image, were taken down. If it had been a bot, it would have taken all of them. Fan art was also affected. Some have debated this because said fan art resembles an actual panel or official art, but this is false. This includes fan art that did not look like any of the original panel art and was completely unique. Yeah, the bot wouldn't pick up on that if it wasn't actually published work. Pictures of cosplayers were affected. There's no realistic conceivable way a bot mistook a human being for a manga panel. The takedowns were far too few and specifically targeted to be the work of a bot or mass flagging of many accounts. It was obviously done manually. They said you could come up with excuses for each of these things, but when you put that together, there is suspicion. That wasn't actually Shueisha's contact information. It's the phone number of a Japanese publisher, Kadokawa, which is an entirely separate publishing company not tied to Shueisha. It doesn't end there. The fax number is not Shueisha's, but Kadokawa's. How could a Shueisha employee make such a fundamental mistake and include not just the wrong phone number, but the wrong fax number in a legal document misrepresenting their company? Well, they wouldn't. So it sounds like this is all phony baloney, and they're talking about an individual. And again, I'm going to link this tweet in the comments. I'm going to pin it to the top of it. You can look at it for yourself. You can go through it yourself. It's way too long to go into detail here in the video, but they said there's a certain content creator who might have been the target that led to the entire situation. The user in question is full-time streamer Jessix, who has been one of the many targets in the case. Here's a full timeline of events. And they're talking about Jessix uploading a fan cam of Dragon Ball on her Twitter, and there was some DMs and things got weird. You know, so it could be that somebody is just going around flagging this content, pretending to be Shueisha. It would be an incredibly bad look for them to take down all of this One Piece and Dragon Ball fan art. So hopefully it is fake, because my opinion of them has definitely dropped because of it. And I mean, even outlets like Newsweek are covering it. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was the case. So I mean, a lot of these companies are beginning to crack down more and more on fan art for sure. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.